Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Hello, my beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 154th episode. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Please make sure to follow us at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. Also remember that all episodes of A Moment of Zen stream 24/7 on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland Worldwide, and you can always find us on our YouTube channel at Zen Sams. In our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, today we're featuring the one and only Enisa. She's a New York-born Albanian singer-songwriter. She joins me right here at iHeart headquarters in Midtown Manhattan. Now, she spikes pop with raw soul and endless attitude. With over 206 million worldwide streams and more than 450 million total video views, she has proven to be a global favorite, earning chart-topping success in countries worldwide. She's had many popular releases, from Get That Money to Just a Kiss, Muah, to her latest release, Disco Cone. Today, she joins me to chat about pursuing a music career, her latest hit, and life right here in New York City. In our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're featuring celebrity matchmaker and PR to the stars, Carmelia Ray. Today, she joins me to talk about menopause, vaginal rejuvenation, and she's going to help me demystify the stigmas surrounding female sexual health. In our Trailblazer segment brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland, today we're featuring radio DJ personality Wendy Wild. She's currently heard middays right here on iHeart's very own 103.5's KTU, The Beat of New York. Wendy also lends her voice to My 99.5 in Salt Lake City and Kiss 107.9 in Sacramento. Today she joins me to chat about life as a radio DJ personality, her passion for aerial silks and photography, awareness and advocacy to overcoming anxiety and finding a path to happiness. In our Discover Your Potential segment brought to you by Body Align, today we're joined by our newest contributor and podcaster, author Dan Gilman, joined by Dr. Yasmin Saad. She's an award-winning, top-rated New York City psychologist and founder of Madison Park Psychological Services. She's a two-time international best-selling author, known as the Wise Psychologist. They're going to join me today to chat about teen mental health, the crisis that is taking over our generation, strategies to overcome the hurdles, and the importance of mental health resources and support. Stay tuned for our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, featuring the incredible, the one and only Enisa. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, 100% pure coconut water. Imagine a drink that's nutrient-rich, powerfully refreshing, naturally sweet with no added sugars, not from concentrate, zero additives, low in calories, absolutely no artificial flavors, and is so tasty that it will become your new favorite beverage. Enter Once Upon a Coconut, the absolute best tasting coconut water you will ever try. Available in 4 refreshing flavors: pure, chocolate, pineapple, and sparkling with energy. Do your taste buds a favor and pick up some today at onceuponacoconut.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Today, I am joined in studio at iHeart headquarters right here in Midtown Manhattan by the one and only Enisa. She's a New York-born Albanian singer-songwriter. She spikes pop with raw soul and endless attitude, let me tell you. With over 206 million worldwide streams and more than 450 million total video views, she's proven to be a global favorite without a doubt, earning chart-topping success in countries worldwide. She's had many popular releases leading up to her latest, Disco Cone. Now, recently, she's been named as the face of the MTAs, the Music Under New York program. Today, she joins me to chat about pursuing a career in music, her latest disco cone hit, and what life is like right here in New York City. Welcoming now to the show is one of our up-and-coming favorite artists, Enisa. Welcome, Stunner.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the sweet introduction. It feels great to be here.
Well, you are such a favorite, especially right here in New York City. So before we dive into your incredible career, which it's an incredible career, let's take a step back and really think about the beginning. And I know that your mom is in studio right now, probably really feeling so enthralled about your accomplishments because she's at the root of it all. But did you always know you wanted to pursue this path in the music industry? And where did your passion for music come from?
Yeah, great question. I've always had a passion for music. I've just always been drawn to singers and seeing them live, performing live. I remember when I was like 6 years old, I'd take one of our VHS tapes with a kid's show or something on it, and then like re-record Britney Spears while she was live on TV and just watch that back a million times. So I always was super intrigued with singing, singers, music. And then since I was a little kid, I just started doing all the plays and the musicals. I was in a rock band in middle school where we'd perform in front of hundreds of people all over Brooklyn. And I was just always a big stage girl, and I always knew I wanted to sing. I didn't really know that's like a legit job or anything like that. I just did it for the passion. And I got really lucky with my parents because as much as they supported me in my music career, my education was super important to them. So, of course, I got my business degree when I went to college and graduated and everything.
Super.
So I was doing both at the same time. It was never a question of like doing one over the other.
Now, you've clearly been working towards your well-deserved success for so many years with your debut single, Burn This Bridge.
Oh, man.
Coming out, back in 2016 when you first debuted that. And now here you are almost a decade later with a whole library of music and a long list of accomplishments. So you were born right here in New York, specifically Brooklyn. Many call New York City the land of opportunity. And it's a hotspot, without a doubt, for networking and building relationships. And in the case of building a music career, it's an epicenter for recording studios and music creation. Now, do you think growing up in New York City has contributed to your success in the music industry? And how has it influenced both your life and career?
Yeah, fantastic question. And just hearing you say almost a decade is hilarious because actually yesterday, I was thinking about it. I'm like, wow, 2 more years will be a decade since my first release.
Oh no!
But and funny enough, iHeart was the first like place that promoted Burn This Bridge. It was like actually the first place that ever promoted me. It premiered the music video for that song. So shout out to iHeartRadio. It's nice to be here almost a decade later. But yeah, I mean, I was blessed from the rest when it came to being born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. That alone was just such an advantage of being in the epicenter of everything music and entertainment. It definitely gave me the upper hand. I don't know if I was born and raised in like Kansas or something like that, it'd be as easy for me. Not that it's easy, it's hard wherever you are, but I don't think I'd maybe have as much courage into just leaving everything and going into a brand new city and just trying to build from the ground up. So yeah, New York really was a big aid, and just living here was a big aid when it came to pursuing my music career, because it made me feel like I could do it. I could walk out the door and something could happen because I'm in New York City.
And you did. Yeah. You did walk out that door, and something incredible did happen right here in New York City. Now let's get back to your latest release, Disco Cone. So released just last month in February. It's already a global sensation, having a big TikTok moment. It has the early signs of what could be a massive hit, and I'm sure that's where it's headed. Now, it's on 15 viral Spotify charts. topping charts in Germany, in France, the UK, Australia, Poland, Russia, Ukraine. I mean, all of the Eastern European countries, and especially Canada, and even iTunes Dance USA charts. So tell me more about what went into creating this song, and where did you find your inspiration for your music?
Inspiration for my music in general really comes from everywhere. It just really depends on what I'm feeling at the moment, and everything around me, the beat, what I want to write about, my mood, my vibe for the day. But with Disco Cone is a really funny story. So one of my friends, this guy named Wenzel, he had sent me this like sax riff, and this was actually in December, and everything was slowing down. The whole like music industry shuts down around December. And it's the holidays, Christmas and New Year's and everything. But he sent me the riff, and I was like, wow, this is really a really great riff. He was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to make a song out of this. Like so over Zoom with some of my collaborators in London, shout out Megan Catone and Laurent, we wrote this incredible song, and we just felt like dropping it. It took a long time for us to really get perfect. I recorded it at my home in Brooklyn, and we did the whole thing through Zoom, so it took quite a long time to get it right. But yeah, when we got it right, me and Wenzel were like, let's just drop this. And then that's what we did. We didn't expect anything. I didn't even have a music video. I didn't have a music video ready. I didn't even have a visualizer ready. I actually made a visualizer to the video 30 minutes before the song dropped, because I was like, who knows? Maybe, my YouTube fans will want to see a visual with the song. And yeah, then 6 days later, it's like we're on the top of Shazam's, viral songs, and like we're just all these countries and everything. It's going crazy on TikTok, and it was really awesome feeling. It keeps you on your toes. You never know when the moment comes. So it's just exciting.
You got to be ready, baby. You got to be ready. Now, the music industry is very different today than it was even just a decade ago. You know this better than anyone else. You mentioned it, and you said, oh, my goodness, it's 10 years today. But for both independent artists and those signed to a label, the digital world of social media has truly, without a doubt, changed the game. No one can dispute that. Now, music artists can connect directly with their fans, and it has, without a doubt, revolutionized the process of music discovery. And that's what we're talking about. So one video can reach millions of people worldwide just by chance if it pops up in someone's TikTok for your page, right? So
one
Enisa,
video could change your life.
Exactly.
Really
So I know that you've conquered the world of social media with 7 million followers on TikTok, almost 2 million YouTube subscribers, and 5.3 million followers on Instagram. Jesus Lord. How do you think social media, I mean, I know how social media has shaped your career, but how do you enjoy the ability to connect directly with your fans online?
I mean, if it wasn't for social media, I don't think anyone would know any of my songs. I was never kind of like one of those artists that just, got signed and got millions of dollars thrown into them when it came to like promotion and all this stuff. Like, it was always about me proving myself, and the internet was my way to prove myself and to have my voice heard. And I've always just been a crazy social media person, as in like I love content, I love making it, I love posting it, I love seeing what reacts. It helps me see where my fans are and how to connect with them. And yeah, I mean, one of my first like songs that kind of blew up for me is a song called Love Cycle, and it went crazy in Africa, and it gave me a #1 in Nigeria, which then Davido, who's the biggest Nigerian artist, hopped on the record, and he made it even better. And I'm just to say, like me, a girl sitting in my chair at home from Brooklyn where I recorded the song, have it blow up in Africa, and then have people know me in this country that I've never been to. It's just the power of social media. It's insane.
So humbling, right? Now spending time writing and recording is just half the job as a music artist, without a doubt.
And another large part, and I might add lucrative part of the life of a music artist are live performances.
Yeah.
So you've had plenty of experience with this and live performances at NYC's legendary SOBs and Sacramento, California's Lost in Rhythm Festival, supporting Biru Rexa and the rooftop at Pier 17, and even representing your home state of New York on NBC's musical reality competition, American Song Contest. Do you have any pre-show rituals, and how do you hype yourself up for your live performances?
No pre-performance ritual. I just pray to God. That is my
Well,
ritual.
that's a ritual.
That's my ritual. Yeah, that's what I do. I'll never forget even when I did the American Song Contest show. Right before my stage performance, they're like, in 3, 2, and I'm just saying all my prayers to God. I'm like, don't let me forget the lyrics or freeze up, and that usually helps me. And so yeah, I'd say that's my pre-ritual. And I get hype. I love being on stage. I love it. I feel like being on stage for me is like a second home. So it's everything to me.
I love it that you're so connected with your God and your family
Absolutely,
and everything.
absolutely.
That's beautiful. This makes my heart warm.
Yes.
Now, you've clearly come such a long way in your career already, but I think it's safe to say that this is not the last time we're going to be hearing from you, other than other than obviously your streaming disco cone. Do you have any exciting plans for 2024? Or do you have anything in the works that we have to look forward to or
Yes.
research about? I mean, you're a woman of mystery.
I know. We don't like to reveal too much. Love a little mystery.
I
But I
know.
will say I am recording my album. I just came back from Europe where I started recording my album, and then of course doing Disco Cone promo all throughout Europe, which we will be continue doing the next month. But yeah, I'm recording an album, shooting music videos, Disco Cone music video coming soon. We're shooting it next week. A lot of collaborations coming up with some amazing, incredible artists overseas. Yeah, it's just nonstop.
It's happening, baby. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Hopefully festivals and a lot of performances, and yeah, keep going.
Oh
with
my
it.
goodness, this is very exciting that I have you here at my disposal.
Yes.
Now, if I can ask you to sing any song for me, I don't know what it would be, but please grace us with something
Yeah.
you have. Just
yeah.
tease me, baby.
I'll sing a little bit of my latest song, Disco Cone, because that's the
Yeah.
vibe. That's the vibe we're on now.
Let's do it.
So it goes like, I'm dancing with my shoulders. This beat control my mind. I heard that disco cone and made me drop it low and take it high. It made me drop it low and take it. Yeah, something like that.
I love this. This is a great, great, great rhythm to dance to, especially on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Well, you are absolutely phenomenal, incredible, so transparent, easy to talk to.
Thank you.
Quite the hottie, let me
Oh,
say.
stop.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, stop it.
Hello. She's over here and she's just beautiful in grace and in presence. And her mom is just as gorgeous and beautiful
Oh,
too.
thank you.
And I love it when an artist
And
comes
you
in
are
with
gorgeous.
family.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Well, that was incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you
you.
will come back again soon.
Absolutely, hun. Anytime you want me, I'm here.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. That was our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Be sure to check out our singer-songwriter Enisa on the gram at I am Enisa, and on TikTok, of course, and on YouTube, without a doubt. And be sure to check out her latest hit, Disco Cone. You definitely won't regret it. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this. That was our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
We gon' do this my way. Follow me, we go left, right. I'm dancing with my shoulders. This beat is taking over. I heard that saxophone. Da, 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 da. I'm dancing with my shoulders. This beat control my mind. I heard that disco boom and made me drop it low and take it high.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Disconnected Kids, Reconnected Families is a documentary-style reality series providing an in-home look at families who have children in need of intervention for conditions ranging from behavioral issues and oppositional defiance to autism and ADHD. Watch as Dr. Robert Milillo and his wife Carolyn go into the home and get real with the families. Using decades of experience, they help families not only face the issues head-on, but also overcome their challenges and reconnect as a family. Exclusively on Your Home TV network.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance. For more information or to order CO2 Lift, go to CO2Lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're featuring our dear friend, celebrity matchmaker, and PR to the stars, Carmelia Ray. Today, she joins me to talk about menopause, vaginal rejuvenation, and help me demystify the stigmas surrounding female sexual health. We're going to be chatting about the health benefits of sexual pleasure and how to maximize celebration of self. Now, you're probably not used to thinking of your skin as an organ, but it's actually the largest organ of the body. It has a myriad of functions, and it is a big contributor to your overall health, including the main barrier between you and a significant other. Now, sex and sexuality are part of life. And aside from reproduction, sex can be about intimacy and pleasure. Sexual activity, penile vaginal intercourse, or masturbation offer many surprising benefits. Sexual health is more than avoiding diseases and unplanned pregnancies. It's also about recognizing that sex can be an important part of your life. And people with active sex lives tend to exercise more frequently and actually have better dietary habits than those who are less sexually active. Here to break it all down for us is the amazing Carmelia Ray. What a fitting topic for you. Welcome to the show, Stunner.
Yeah, I love this topic. And I think that there's not enough conversation around it. So I'm so pleased that you are having this conversation with me right now.
Okay, let's jump right in. So CO2lift.com has a gel that from their studies show 117% increase in hydration after only one application. Now, we're not just talking about vaginal hydration. We're talking about overall skin benefit, and as well as a 26% increase in elasticity after only 6 treatments. Now, this type of hydration is clearly optimal. Carmelia, you are very familiar with the products. How have you witnessed CO2 Lift affect the health of your skin, including your skin down there?
What can I say? I mean, everything that is in the packaging and all the promises that it says about, having plumpness and hydration and free from wrinkles. I barely have to wear makeup. I'm in makeup a lot, and so I really wanted a product where it would nourish and my real skin and the skin down there. I mean, I've taken pictures. I'm looking around, and let's just say that I'm very pleased with the results.
I've taken pictures and I'm pleased with the results. Let's coin that one.
I
Now-
got vaginal selfies. Okay, I got vag selfies.
Oh boy, oh boy. Now, all of this from carboxytherapy. Now, carboxytherapy gel, let's talk about that. So, we know that it increases the presence of wound repair factors and growth factors, which then help cells turn over faster. And this reduces the appearance of aging and scars and stretch marks and so much more. So there's a science behind it. Then we
Yes.
also know that carboxytherapy stimulates collagen and elastin production, which then promotes elasticity and helps retain hydration because it's all about hydrating that area we're talking about, as well as, of course, and the doctors love this. All the surgeons talk about this. It improves local metabolism and elimination of waste products, which then helps the body heal localized damage such as scars or acne hyperpigmentation. So, Carmelia, as an advocate of female empowerment, how do you feel about vaginal rejuvenation and non invasive procedures?
Well, number one, having any kind of invasive procedure for anybody is a scary idea. Non-invasive is music to my ears because we're not going under knife, scalpel, general anesthesia, not going to the hospital. This all can be done at home. In fact, I did it this morning. I tagged you in an Instagram post, right? So mine comes in a little box and everything that I need is in this box. So it's something that when you're dating and even in partnership, that area, a lot of women, I've talked to so many women, they don't even look at it. They don't even want to look at it, right? And there's a lot of embarrassment and shame around what the vagina looks like, comparing it to others and thinking that, it's not so nice looking. So I think that this is such an important tool or treatment for women to build their confidence.
I think all vaginas are beautiful.
Yeah.
The act of sex, right, can help strengthen your pelvic floor. So let's go back to the science. And a strengthened pelvic floor can also offer benefits like less pain during sex and reduce chances of vaginal prolapse, which we know are major when you're hitting a certain age, especially menopausal women. Now, women who continue to be sexually active after menopause are actually less likely to have significant vaginal atrophy, or the thinning of vaginal walls, what they call. And vaginal atrophy causes a lot of pain during sex. And of course, there's also urinary symptoms that go along with it. So, this, to my understanding, CO2 Lift V mitigates all of these symptoms and risks, which brings me to my next question. So, CO2 Lift V, we know, Carmelia, improves sensitivity and urinary incontinence and mild laxity of the vaginal and the labia, as well as there's this medical term called lichen sclerosis, which I learned about. It's a rare skin disease that causes itchy and painful patches of thin, white, wrinkled looking skin. And in
Wow.
women, these may occur on the vulva or the skin around the anus. And in men, it typically affects the head of the penis. So, we know CO2 Lift V, the vaginal treatment, is very well recommended by practitioners to aid in these symptoms and pain of what these conditions cause. Can you describe what the CO2 vaginal treatment process was like for you and its effectiveness?
Well, number one, again, to the non invasive part, it's very easy to apply. This is something that you can do in the privacy of your room, your bathroom, your home. So nobody has to look at your vagina. I mean, a lot of times when women even just go to the doctor to get a pap smear, it can be embarrassing and everything. So when I actually insert the cream in the vagina, it's very cool, it's soothing, but there is a warmth. I immediately can feel like there's blood that rushes. It's because of the carbon dioxide and all of the stimulation that goes on in there. So it increases that blood flow. Coupled with non-invasive treatments like the M-Cella chair with CO2V, I think that combination itself is makes it even better. So there's even faster results. But as far as it's painless, it's pleasurable. It's comforting and it's not embarrassing because I'm doing it at home in the comfort of my home, and it's the 45 minutes that I get to relax and do things for myself. So I absolutely love it. The results speak for itself. I won't be sharing my photos, but I can tell you that I'm very pleased with the results, and I will continue to keep maintenance on my vagina.
I love it. Take it to the body shop, baby.
Yep.
Now, I actually have also used CO2 Lift Feed. To your point, it lifts, it hydrates, it rejuvenates, it
Yeah.
does plump down there. It helps tighten and lift it all. Basically, it's the science, carbon
Yeah.
dioxide. It's very simple. And to your point, you said it. You hit it right on. It enhances circulation by rushing oxygen-rich blood to tissue, and it regenerates cells to improve sensitivity and lubrication. It's quite phenomenal. Now, Carmelia, why do you think there is shame and embarrassment in the word sex and vagina?
To your point, you mentioned you think all vaginas are beautiful. If you ask the average woman, including my clients and close friends, particularly women who are aging, I'm turning 52 this year. I am premenopausal. I haven't had the hot flashes, but I can tell you the skin on your face is the same as the skin down there. And when you start to see white hair and not that firmness that you're used to, you become conscious of that. Why it's so taboo is that the generation of women that I came from, and the fact that I'm Filipino Canadian, there's also traditions and cultures that are not comfortable talking about sex. God forbid you talk about that in certain cultures. So this is something that is just a cultural no, a taboo. It's uncomfortable conversation, and no woman is going to want to admit that they feel like their vagina is ugly, or they've got loose labia, or whatever the case is. Nobody wants to talk about that. So there's just an increased sensitivity in our vanity down there, and we don't want to admit it. A lot of women don't want to admit that.
You are so right. In fact, it's backed by a study in 2022. There was a study by gynecologists at the University of Manchester in England, and less than 10% of women could accurately label female genitalia. The clitoris is even more taboo than the vagina, and arguably the most neglected human organ by medicine. It's still inadequately depicted in most medical textbooks and barely touched upon in medical training. And this is a very serious problem. I mean, women have been injured by this lack of knowledge through botched reconstruction surgeries, anti-incontinence procedures, obstetric tears and repairs, and vulvectomies, and there's so much more. So it's time that we demystify the stigmas surrounding sexual health and really get practitioners talking and get the narrative where it's healthy and where it's productive for women, and really kind of get most of the men away from the front lines and replace with women who can actually be sensitive to our own anatomy. So this brings me into my next question. How important is intimacy in a relationship in the year 2024?
I think intimacy is important, more important than ever, particularly intimacy now in such a digital world where more and more people are less connected. We talk about having more connection, but our phones, texting, voice notes, we become less connected in person because of that. And just previous, what I wanted to say is I'm a mother who's had 4 kids. Let's talk about the embarrassment of post delivery. I made the mistake of looking at my vagina the first time I gave birth to my daughter, Michaela, who's now 25, and I had 45 stitches. It looked like a boxing match went down there. Okay. And I thought, oh my God, my husband's never, ever going to go near that area. In fact, I'm never going to go near that area. But if I had access to CO2V at that time, knowing that it can heal and repair and rejuvenate, I think I would have felt so much better about that. So intimacy today is more important. And when it comes down to confidence is the one thing that gets in the way of intimacy, and actually lack of confidence. I will say the doubts, the comparison. No two vaginas are alike, like a snowflake. So it is beautiful no matter what. And if we don't like our vagina, how do we expect our partner is going to like the vagina?
Well said. Well said. And in fact, to your point, that we are so plugged in or unplugged, if you will, with this digital world that we live in, intimacy in the times that we are intimate, whether that's 10, 15, 20 minutes out of the day or whatever, twice a week or twice a month, whatever it is for everybody, it's different, right? Then that time should really be spent harvesting that intimacy so you can make it last, and rippled into your relationship. And in fact, your body releases oxytocin. It's also called the love or intimacy hormone, and endorphins are released during orgasm, which then leads to better sleep. And the combination of these hormones also acts as sedation. So you have headache relief. You have so many pros to engaging in sexual intimacy more often. Now, the new female trend, Carmelia, includes skin down there, as we've been talking about. How do you, as a celebrity matchmaker and love guru, prepare your clients? Do you recommend that they prioritize vaginal beautification?
Oh, absolutely. I think that sex is on the forefront of every date. In fact, they do say, like, to calm your nerves down, you should probably have an orgasm before you go on a date so you're not all wild up, right? Um, Again, you're if you're looking in a new relationship, and for many of my clients who may be in a second time relationship, they've only been intimate with one partner for many, many years. So the idea of bringing a new partner and having to get adjusted and having to introduce them to your body parts, particularly post pregnancy or even just aging, right? And for people even who are not aging, there are young people that just, again, culturally, they don't talk about it, they don't explore it. So I think for me, having this tool, having this opportunity to recommend something that will be part of their self care routine is completely invaluable. So I think there's not enough discussion about it. And I absolutely address those needs with my clients.
Wow, you have everything covered. All your bases covered. Emotional, physical, mental. What don't you do?
Sexual.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, this is full service, no pun intended. Carmelia, thank you so much for coming on. You're always so transparent and so easy to talk to. It's always a pleasure having you.
Always love being here. Thanks so much, guys.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2lift.com. And that was the amazing Carmelia Ray. She's a celebrity matchmaker, a life coach. She's PR to the stars. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mama. She's one of my dearest friends. You definitely should head to her website at carmeliaray.com or check her out on the gram at Carmelia Ray. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeart Radio. For all these incredible products, do head to co2lift.com or check them out on the gram for the incredible testimonials, especially when it comes to the vaginal rejuvenation product at CO2Lift. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Life can take unexpected turns. Meet Carrie Portal, a cattle rancher and professional speaker who has overcome partially disabling injuries to embrace a life of courage and resilience. As a survivor of an impaired driver, she refuses to let her injuries define her. Carrie's learned to adapt, push limits, and live life to the fullest. Join her as she shares her inspiring story on Cruisin' Cowgirl, a new TV series streaming on yourhometv.com and Roku.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Coming up next in our Trailblazer segment, brought to you by Your Home TV and our friends over at Kathy Ireland Worldwide. Today, we're featuring radio and DJ personality Wendy Wild. Currently heard middays only right here on iHeart's very own 103.5 KTU, the beat of New York. Wendy also lends her voice to My 99.5 in Salt Lake City and Kiss 107.9 in Sacramento. In addition, Wendy's What's Up with Wendy segment airs weekends on The Weekend Throwdown with Jagger, which is a nationally syndicated program with approximately 35 affiliates and counting. She provides various voiceovers for commercials, promos, and programs such as the Weekend Top 30 Countdown. Now, while not on the air or podcasting, Wendy loves honing her skills on the aerial silks and hammock. She's also an avid portrait photographer. You can check out her work on the gram. Incredible stuff. Today, she joins me to chat about life as a radio DJ personality, her passion for aerial silks and photography, awareness and advocacy to overcoming anxiety, and finding a path to happiness. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Wendy Wild. Welcome, Stunner.
Hi, what an intro. How do we even top that? That is incredible.
You are incredible. That's why the intro was so amazing.
Oh, Zen, thank you for having me. This is such a cool experience. Thank you.
Well, you are at the top of your game, my darling. Can you tell us about your journey into the world of radio and how you found your niche as a DJ and personality?
Well, you know what? I was always like kind of a weird kid, and I had this I have a lot of hyper focuses. Like when I find a hobby that I truly love, I go all in. So I was a little kid, and I really I was, with my little radio, and I kind of knew, just even getting into college, not even coming out, that was what I wanted to do. So right out of high school, it was an internship. And then about 2 months later, I was working for the radio station. So I was simultaneously going to college and also working at my local radio station and just kind of worked my way up from there.
Amazing. Now, can you walk us through and talk to us about a typical day in your life from basically preparing for your radio shows to preparing your hobbies and your advocacy work? I know that you're involved in so much.
Thank you. Well, day to day is, you never really know what you're going to get because you're in this world too, right, Zen? So every day, it really depends on what the news cycle is. Now, for a radio show like mine, it's going to typically be something that's lighter hearted. We don't really touch upon the hard news. We try our best to keep things local, so we're always kind of watching the local news sources to see what's going on in our areas, trying to look for fun things that our listeners might want to get involved with. So that's kind of how my day starts, usually with coffee. And I do my prep and just kind of get things ready. And as you mentioned before, I also am on in Sacramento and Salt Lake City. So my local news branches out to those cities as well. So I'm doing that and prepping and then we just kind of talk and it's really cool to be able to check in with listeners throughout their day and be a companion, be a friend and do it together.
Wow, you do a lot and you are so much for so many people. And outside of radio, you're I know that you're passionate about your aerial silks and your hammock work. How did you discover this interest?
It's funny. I was a little kid and I think I started gymnastics when I was 3. So it was, I was a hypermobile kid. I had shoulders that were very flexible. And I think that was just the answer for my family to put me in gymnastics. So it's kind of all I knew. But at that time, I did not know about circus arts. But when I discovered in the early 2000s that you could fly from a trapeze, or my nana calls it climbing the curtains, which is the aerial silks, I was like, "Wow, this is it. This is for me." And it really translated quite nicely from gymnastics. And, we won't say how old I am, but, it's pretty cool that, like, at the age that I am now, I feel like I am probably the best at it that I have been, if that makes sense.
You are totally incredible. I watch you on Instagram and I'm
Thank
like this
you.
goddess, this
Well, I know
beautiful
you're
body, this
you're really
amazing.
into all sorts of extreme sports too. Maybe we'll get you into a class.
Oh, I'm so excited. Let's do it. Now, when we talk about overcoming anxiety, with you in particular, what are some effective strategies that you recommend for individuals struggling with anxiety to find their path to happiness?
So that's such a good question. I only recently learned that I am likely neurodivergent. And what's really funny is if, just only maybe 10, 15 years ago, you go to call up a doctor and try to get a diagnosis, you know what they say to you? They say, "How old is your child?" Right? There's really not a lot of resources out there for people our age, and we're learning that there are all different types of brains out there that learn very differently. And, say if you happen to be on the autism spectrum, that can cause anxiety just in the way that the world is designed for people who are neurotypical out there. So I would say that knowledge is really everything. If you think that you might identify, maybe as having ADHD or, whatever it is, learning as much as you can about it, knowing that there's some things that are actually superpowers. Like for me, I know that I will go into hyper focus mode and I am able to get work done so fast at a speed that is like really intense, compared to some of my peers. I'm able to learn information. I may forget to go to the bathroom or to drink water, but being aware of that kind of situation, it really helps. And I think it really does help you to manage anxiety by not pretending to be something you're not.
I
I will
couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more.
Whereas I used to not be able to hear I used to not be able to hear people very well. Nothing wrong with my ears, but if there was other noises in the room. So now, we were actually set to have a sales meeting not long ago, and there was, like, background noise, and I said, "Excuse me," I'm like, "Would you mind if we move this meeting, like, down the hall?" And I try to make these arrangements for myself to make sure that I'm doing the best for me and knowing that I won't get overwhelmed or overstimulated, and it's okay. And it's okay to tell people too.
And being your own advocate is really the best line of defense.
Yeah.
Now, what are when we talk about, anxiety, mindfulness practices, cognitive reconstructing, and self-compassion are, of course, key strategies. Now, what strategies or coping mechanisms do you find helpful?
I find it helpful, like you said, to advocate for yourself. If you need some sort of arrangement to make your work or your daily life a little bit easier, then speak up and ask for it. I think people are really understanding. And it's so interesting how different traits of anxiety and other related issues can present differently in different people. For instance, like what we're now learning about ADHD is that, if you're not a 10-year-old hyperactive boy, it doesn't mean that you don't have it. So we're learning so much. I think also what's important is making time for the things that you love. And, you know, especially with ADHD, you tend to really be good at things that you love. So if you make that time for it, you'll be motivated to get yourself through the day.
And keep going.
Keep
Now
going.
let's chat aerial silks, the movement and discipline, and how pivotal of a role it has been in managing your mental health. So as we know, dance and movement can help individuals with anxiety and or autism in various ways, and emotional expression we know is key. So the aerial silks offers a unique channel for emotional expression. It can help with some sensory regulations, to my understanding.
Yeah.
So I know this reduces anxiety for you. It promotes relaxation and promotes focus. How have the aerial silks and the hammock helped you?
Wow. Well, for one, there's a sense of community, which is really nice. Everyone's kind of at a different stage in their aerial journey, but I have found such an amazing group of people. And it's funny because we all seem to be like very similar, very like-minded. There's something about being able to conquer a skill and, just knowing that there's something that you haven't been able to do. Maybe it took you a couple months to be able to lock down this skill, and it just this sense of accomplishment, which is really amazing. And it's a really fun way to express yourself too, because one move doesn't look the same. I might find something different to do with my hand, and it's just a fun way. It's like dance, people who are dancers will tell you the same thing, that it's not just about knowing the steps. It's about the way that you make it yours, and it's art, and it's fun. It's fun to hang upside down. It really is.
I love that you love being a bat. Now,
Basically, I'm a bat.
you're a bat. Now, finally, what would your key message be to those who are currently struggling with anxiety, going through life transitions, kind of really feeling awkward in their own self?
Don't hide it. Don't hide it at all. And if you have that good friend, you you would be surprised at how much people can relate to you. And like we're kind of all going through this journey together. I think just being authentically you, leaving time for yourself, finding things that you enjoy, just trying out different things. Like something's gonna click. I think I'm a firm believer in me time. If that means reading for you or crafting, whatever it is, like all these things can help. Like giving yourself one thing to look forward to every day. That's kind of like my motto. Just leaving some time for the things.
You are
Snuggling with the cat.
You're such a bright light, Wendy. Oh my goodness. I
Oh.
love speaking to you. You are so transparent and easy to talk to. And this was such an incredible interview. Now, seeing you in the halls of iHeart Radio headquarters in Midtown Manhattan is going to make it so much more bearable when we just have the workload ahead of us. But I've now found a friend in you and a lot of commonalities. Thank you for being you.
Thank you for being you, and thanks for having me.
Big shout out to Wendy Wild, and definitely check her out right here on iHeart's very own. That was our Trailblazer segment, brought to you by Your Home TV and our friends over at Kathy Ireland Worldwide. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. Do check her out on the gram at Wendy Wild Radio, also on Instagram and TikTok. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Join news reporter Gina Tomlinson and real estate expert Ralph Nudie as Gina gets nudie to show you the hottest places to eat, stay, and play in the world's best beach towns. Tune in to Nudie on the Beach, streaming on Your Home TV at nudieonthebeach.tv. That's NUDI on the beach.tv.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. A Moment of Zen is sponsored by Body Align. Are you ready for a long winter's nap? Over 183 million adults have trouble sleeping at least once a week. That's why Body Align designed a wearable patch that helps you fall asleep faster, wake up feeling refreshed, and comes with a money-back guarantee. Try the Sweet Dreams patch today and get a buy one, get one free pack with the promo code DYP. Visit bodyalign.com and enter DYP at checkout because discovering your potential starts with a great night's sleep. That's bodyalign.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Discover Your Potential segment brought to you by Bodyline, today we're joined by our regular contributor, podcaster, and author, Dan Gilman. He's joined by our dear friend, Dr. Yasmin Saad. She's an award-winning, top-rated New York City psychologist and founder of Madison Park Psychological Services, and she's a two-time international best-selling author. Known as the Wise Psychologist, Dr. Saad is celebrated for her inner message approach. This transformative method helps individuals decode thoughts and emotions to overcome negative patterns and unlock their true potential. In addition to her clinical practice, she's an internationally acclaimed speaker, often sharing the stage with icons like Deepak Chopra, Dr. Shefali, Les Brown, and many others. Her insights have been featured in over 100 media outlets, including ABC, CBS, NBC, BBC, Fox. That's just to name a few. They joined me today to chat about the teen mental health crisis, strategies to overcome mental hurdles, and the importance of mental health resources and support. Welcoming now to the show are my dear friends, Dr. Yasmin Saad and Dan Gilman. Welcome, my friends.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, let's jump right into it. You have a laundry list of accomplishments, my dear. So as an experienced psychologist, you recognized early in your career the need for a more expedient route to healing after noticing in many of your consultations some apprehensions about therapy, concerns about the time commitment, reluctance towards a passive therapeutic role, or even reluctance to delve extensively into past histories. And to my understanding, after reading up on this apprehension can be very dangerous as millions of people in the US are affected by mental illness each year. And looking specifically at our youth, according to the CDC, over 1 in 5 youth at ages 13 to 18, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a serious debilitating mental illness. Dr. Saad, in your professional journey, what has been the most challenging aspect of addressing teen mental health, and how have you navigated these challenges?
That's such a great question, Zen. Thank you so much. So the most challenging piece with teen mental health is really the lack of education from the parents to the children. Teenagers and a lot of teens have a lot of negative thoughts, and they do not know how to handle those negative thoughts. They either replace them with positive, are being told, think positive, or they're being told, don't pay attention to them, but those thoughts keep coming. And I think the whole world is very ill-equipped to deal with negative thoughts. That is the main challenge, the lack of knowledge around what to do with those negative thoughts.
Yeah, and to add to this mental health crisis, today's teens, to your point, could even be navigating, and this is additional stressors, a digital world that older generations never had. And while this technology and the online world continues to evolve, there are both benefits and repercussions, I say as a mom. And I know Dan has a question pertaining to this, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So take it away, Dan.
Yeah, I have a question with the rise of digital technology. What impact do you see it having on teen mental health, and what strategies do you suggest for managing this impact?
So we all seen our children getting hooked and addicted to the screen. They're on social media and it's bombarding them. And now there's reels, they're fast reels. So they're used to fast, high speed content that's bombarding them with a lot of emotion, a lot of movement. So what is happening with our teen is that they are getting used to wanting a lot of sensation, a lot of emotion, a lot of things, and they're exposed to a lot of fear content. So the strategy is to educate them on the impact it has for them. So I'll give you a strategy that I use with my daughter, which is I let her watch social media content. And I initially do not put limits, because I know a lot of people are, let's put limits. And then I point to her mood. I point to her thinking. I point to her how she's bored without it. I point to her, you hear the teen saying, Mom, I'm so bored. Can I be on screens? And I see, you see how you're so bored without it. You see how addicted. So I teach her by showing her what is happening in her body and her mind so that she makes the links. Now, after that, you do have to put some limits because their brains are not developed. And so they cannot themselves regulate this, but at least they understand the concept. So it's really important to bring awareness to our children about the impact of the screen, of the content on the screen, on their mental health, so that they make the connection and they be motivated to follow your guidance.
These are great pointers. And as a mom, I echo your sentiment. I love that you're using the psychological approach here versus the disciplinary approach. I think this is very effective, especially with today's youth. Now, as the founder of Madison Park Psychological Services, you and your team specialize in providing holistic care to a very diverse clientele, and you integrate ancient Eastern wisdom with modern Western therapeutic techniques. And you've successfully guided countless adults and couples and children toward wellness in a remarkably short time. So, from your experience, can you share a particular memorable case where you helped a teen overcome a significant mental health hurdle? And what was their turning point?
Yeah, I have countless of examples, but let's choose one. Let's choose a teen who's having some anger problem, because at the teenager year, this is one of the most common problems. They have a lot of emotion. They don't know how to regulate the emotion. And so they're coming because they are angry and they're frustrated. And parents do not know how to handle this because usually it's held by discipline. So the way we did in my practice is by applying my inner message approach, which is every emotion you have is here for a purpose, for a reason. So anger happens always when you have unmet desires. We like, you can see that in your life. You might be angry at your husband for not doing the dishes, or you have a desire and they're not being met. Well, our teens have tons of desires that are not being met, and there are tons of limitation to their life. There's school, there's no screen, we put a lot of limitation, and depending on the teen, they will have more and more frustration with that. So the first piece that I implement is understanding what is the frustration, and understanding afterwards, how is that frustration related to who they are? There's certain teens that love freedom, specifically freedom. So this is a teen that you have to implement times of freedom, times of limitation. So you have to build and give into the essence of the person. Another teen who came with frustration, their frustration is their essence is a playful essence. So they're frustrated because life is boring, is homework, is duty, is responsibility. And they have a parent who's into duty, responsibility. So it was about educating the parents about who the essence of that teen was and why the frustration was there. What was that unmet desire? And building the bridge, helping the parents. How can the parents create more playfulness for that child? And how can a playful child adjust in a world of responsibility? And making that bridge. And as you can see, this can be done within 10 minutes. I can know what's happening. And within a session, we can really help someone. It's all about decoding somebody's emotions, somebody's thought, and educating the parents and the child with strategies.
Well, I mean, listen, you have it down to a science, and I'm so glad teens have psychologists like you to turn because focusing on mental health in teens is extra important since 50% of all lifetime mental illness does begin by the age of 14. So finding that support system and proper treatment early on is critical. It's critical. However, not every teen knows how to reach out for help. So, Dan, I'm interested to hear your next question.
Yeah, for teens that might be watching or listening to this interview who might be struggling in silence, what message would you like to convey to them?
So do not take your thoughts at face value. First. Second, understand that every thought that you're having is a coded message. It's like a dream. So it has part of reality, part of the way you operate, and it's here to guide you. And I'm going to give them an example because I want every teen out there to really understand how to manage their thoughts and emotion, because that's the most important part. If you have a thought you're not good enough, which is a very common one, that thought is calling your attention as a teen to something that you need to work on internally, which is your self-esteem. It doesn't mean that you are not good enough, but it does mean that your self-esteem needs a boost. What else do we know? When you tell yourself you're not good enough, we know that you're the type of teen that is kicking yourself in the butt as a way of motivating yourself, because we tell ourselves bad things to move forward. And therefore, what we know is that you want to change your way of motivating yourself. So every negative thought you have shows us the journey in front of you. But that thought just means that there's a land where you have good self-esteem and a land where you are where you don't have it. And you have a desire towards it, and you're motivating yourself through that negative thoughts to get there. So really understand that thought, I'm not good enough, it's your mind who created a problem for you to go solve it with a kick in the butt approach. So it's going to kick and you're going to be in pain. So that was a little example that I want every teen to know. Every thought is a coded message. Your job is just to understand it and reach out if you need help decoding your thoughts.
Wow, you put it all into great perspective. Now, when we go back and we look in recent years, many schools are working towards prioritizing the mental health of their students, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. A National Institute of Mental Health supported study revealed that adolescents who lived through the COVID-19 pandemic may be experiencing more anxiety and depression and greater internalizing problems. So, our teens are in need of support now more than ever. Now, in the context of teen mental health, how important do you believe community and school support systems are, and what improvements would you like to see in these areas?
Community, peers, families, any community is so important because the reality we all know, love heals all. And connection to others is what helps others feel good. And we're a human being. We need others. So it's fundamental that we come together as community around our school, around our psychologists to help our teens. What I would like to see more in school specifically is an education around managing negative thoughts and emotion, because there's a lot of education on bullying, on how to stand up for oneself, on reach out if you need help, but there's very little education on what to do if you have a negative thought. What are negative thoughts? Why would you be having them? I want education. I want people to understand that if you perceive a criticism, you will start having negative thoughts afterwards. If you are in a fight with someone, your mind will create negative thoughts. I want teens to be instructed on what creates negative thoughts so that they can be equipped with the tools to then deal with them, which is when you have received a criticism and you have negative thoughts, is because you're debating in your head if what they said was true. And therefore, we need to build a solid identity. So I do want more education around thoughts and emotion. And the last piece is we have to help our teens have solid identity. Because when you have a solid identity, harm doesn't get in. I always use this example. If I feel pretty and you tell me I'm ugly, I'm going to think there's something wrong with your eyesight. It's just not going to enter. But if I have doubt whether I'm pretty, I'm ugly, I'm going to go, maybe they're right. Maybe my nose, maybe my mouth. And if I really feel ugly, I'm going to be, how dare you? Or, oh, I'm so ugly, they're so right. And I'm going to spiral into a negative emotion very quickly. So the best way to equip our teen is to build a strong identity, to help them build a strong identity based on who they are with no cracks.
That's great advice.
Yes. Thank you.
Dan?
Yeah, can you also share like strategies for building resilience in teenagers facing mental health challenges?
Yes. So one of the biggest advice is, how can you build faith? You have to build faith. When you're facing a mental health challenge, your mind will have tendency to go towards the negative. It will look at what's wrong, what's missing, what's not there. So one of the advice is, I want every single teen to list every day, where's the support, what they did right, what's going well. Then I want them to list, what is their talent, what is their strength. And if they have a hard time finding them, ask people around, ask friends, who am I? What do you think about me? And they will tell you. And I want them to use their strengths and talent and use the strategy at looking where is the support to find the help for the missing, the lacking, the negative. And that gymnastic needs to happen on a daily basis for every teen out there. It's an important gymnastics.
I love everything you said. I can speak to you for hours, one mom to another. It's great. It's great listening to somebody put it all together in such a logical process, because children are such complex individuals, especially teenage children, and their mind is going through, like you said, a million emotions a day, and navigating this could be very challenging for many parents who don't know or are not equipped with coping mechanisms, right? So thank you for the service that you provide. Dan, thank you so much for coming on. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure having you on again.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for your question and for this episode. It's very well needed. So thank you.
You are so welcome. You are very well needed. That was our Discover Your Potential segment, sponsored by Bodyline. That was the incredible Dr. Yasmin Saad. She's an award-winning top 3 in New York City psychologist, founder of Madison Park Psychological Services, and she's a 2-time international best-selling author. Be sure to follow her on the gram at dr.yasminsad with 2 A's, or visit her online at dryasminsad.com, and her practice at madisonparkpsych.com. And of course, you can see more of Dan by heading to discoveryourpotentialshow.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by Body Align. Are you ready for a long winter's nap? Over 183 million adults have trouble sleeping at least once a week. That's why Body Align designed a wearable patch that helps you fall asleep faster, wake up feeling refreshed, and comes with a money-back guarantee. Try the Sweet Dreams patch today and get a buy one, get one free pack with the promo code DYP. Visit bodyalign.com and enter DYP at checkout, because discovering your potential starts with a great night's sleep. That's bodyalign.com. A Moment of Zen is sponsored by FinTech TV.
FinTech TV, the newest streaming channel focused exclusively on the business of blockchain, digital assets, and sustainability. Broadcasting from our studio on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with daily reports from NASDAQ, global expansion, and 24/7 coverage. Become part of the launch. Head to fintech.tv/invest. Fintech.tv/invest.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710wor.iheart.com/a moment of Zen. Also, remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. We upload to YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland. We stream 24/7. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to A Moment of Zen. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it.